This is Notes in the Margin, a podcast for people who are super excited about writing their non-fiction book, but perhaps, just perhaps, aren't quite doing it. If you always feel called to tile the bathroom or clean the toilet instead of writing your book, you are in the right place. Your host, Vicky Fraser, has been there, done that, and has literally written the book about it. Join Vicky and her husband Joe as they make notes in the margin about creativity, writing techniques, publishing, and general shenanigans, and get tips and tricks to help you write your book. Hello and welcome to Notes in the Margin. This week we are back. I'm your host, Vicky Fraser. This week we are back with part 2 of the MicroBook Magic Author Showcase. And this time we will be hearing from Sarah Milne, Yinka Iwala, and Sharon Blue. And we'll be hearing excerpts from their audiobooks. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And I hope you enjoy it as much as last week. So without further ado, here we go. Right, next up is Sarah Milne. Sarah has entered the chat. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us. Sarah works with Sarah, as I think everybody knows now, given the chat. And Sarah is going to tell you something really exciting about her book in a minute, I hope. Otherwise, I'm going to tell people because it's just really cool.
Yeah. Well, so my Sarah basically said, let's do this. Let's do this. And I just decided that for my topic, there's so many different things I could have brought in, because I'm a psychologist, and also I work with Sarah on this wonderful program. So there's so much psychology in what we do. But my PhD was the intention behavior gap. And I thought, we work with women on living intentionally and the importance of an intention-filled life and a purpose-driven life. So I just thought, well, it'd be really fun to bring those two things together. So I went back to my PhD, and I think this is what Vicky wants me to share with you. Then I looked at the book Atomic Habits, because I thought Vicky had mentioned it and I'd never read it. And I thought, oh, this will give me an idea about how to, because what I did was I went and researched and looked at what everyone else has been doing in the research field since I went into more sort of practical things. And I thought, how do I write a book then that is kind of cool and interesting and also based on psychological theory? And so I read this one for some ideas. And then I was reading chapter 5, and it started off, in 2001, researchers in Great Britain began working with 248 people to build better exercise habits over the course of blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, that's really familiar. Like, then they wrote this implementation intention, which is how you make specific if-then plans that help you to see an intention through, make it automatic like a habit, which is why he's talking about it. Like during the next week, that's my implementation intention. I'm just like, what? And it goes on. So I checked the back, and he does indeed cite me as these psychologists are Sarah Milne and my supervisors. So he wrote like a whole chapter about our research. So that's really cool. So I have weaved that into my book as well. The fact that I'm trying to fill a gap in, because he talks about my book is it's got a sort of penciled in title in a minute. Title's not completely decided on, because I want to make it a bit more punchy. But at the moment it's called Dream It, Intend It and See It Through, an easy and proven way to make intentions that stick. And of course he's got an easy and proven way to make good habits. So I'm taking his thing there. And he has a chapter in here where he says, forget about goals, focus on systems instead. And he talks about the value of disappointment between goals and what actually happens. And of course he's saying that habits are those systems. And I'm going to sort of start off with talking about that chapter, like he's got talking about one of my chapters and saying but the systems that we're talking about here are intentions. Like he forgot about intentions. He's just talking about everything being habitual. And I'm saying, no, actually we can make it intention driven. And so I'm hoping it's going to be like what Atomic Habits did to habits. This will be intentions.
I am so excited about it. So I'm going to let you get over there in a minute. But
I am going to send him. I'm going to send it to him and ask him to give me a back blurb. Hoping he'll give me a quote. But anyway,
he is a lovely guy. I've spoken to him. It's so nice. So do it. Right. Without further ado, please read.
I think this is the beginning. This wasn't the beginning, but I think it should be the beginning. So I'm saying now this is the beginning. So, almost every night, I make the intention to get up and start the next day with an early walk and play on the beach across the road with Freya, my Shih Tzu. Drink coffee as we watch the sunrise over the sea, then come home for breakfast, jump in for a quick shower and be at my desk writing by 8 a.m. Today, I'm writing this paragraph at 7:22, feeling virtuous. My intention realised. Days that start this way are always my most productive and usually my most enjoyable, yet this is just the second time in the last month I've managed to get up rather than hit the snooze button so many times that the 6 a.m. alarm gives up on me and stops ringing. So if I know that days like this, that days that start this way are going to be my best days, why do I struggle so much to make them happen? That's the question this book sets out to answer. Why do so many of our intentions fail? What causes this gap of frustration and disappointment between intention and behaviour? And most importantly, what can we do about it? I will show you how we often put our intentions on the struggle bus right from the start, because the way our brain is when we make the intention and the way our brain is when we strive to see it through simply does not match up. During the act of making an intention, you're thinking about it, placing it right in the center of your conscious mind. But when it comes to the moment to act, that intention must compete with all the other chaos in your mind, your body, your life, what's going on for others and the whole world around. So it's no surprise then that 50% of the intentions we set never come to fulfillment. And the reason always boils down to one of two things. At that critical moment, when opportunity strikes, we forget our intention or we abandon it. The biggest obstacle for me in my intention to catch that sunrise is that I'm a night owl. I'm often far too deep into reading or writing a book at the midnight hour to want to stop and go to bed. So that makes it difficult for me to wake early. And when the alarm goes off, my intention is abandoned. I have other things I need to do, important phone calls, emails, and letters that are living permanently on my to-do list. These are the forgotten intentions. But the great news is there are things you can do right now to strengthen and protect your intentions against what psychologists call proactive memory failure, also known as forgetting, and goal reprioritization, or abandoning your intention for something that seems better in the moment. Through this book, I will show you the rules of making effective goal and behavior intentions that stick. I will then guide you through a series of simple steps you can take to make sure your intention seizes the moment and jumps right into the center of your attention when opportunity to act arrives. I will teach you how to make intentions that are almost impossible to forget or abandon. It is my hope to be able to apply my own advice and the rules and steps I will share with you in this book to get some lasting behaviour changes too, especially when it comes to my bedtime and morning routines. Intentions are the guiding forces of our lives. They enable us to make our own choices and take control rather than letting life and those we share it with decide our direction. Intentions enable us to be who we want to be authentic and live to our values. They're promises we make ourselves about who we want to be and the things we want to achieve. Everything starts with intention, so let's make them stick. Make your own adventure. When I was a child, I used to love reading those set your own adventure books where you've got to pause the action and make decisions about what the characters should do next. I used to get really engrossed and involved, like I was living through the book. This book is a little bit like those, but more so as you really can live through the book. This is your adventure. You are the central character and you can make the story exactly what you want it to be. Just like those interactive adventure storybooks, I will pause at the end of each section and invite you to make a decision or reflect on something. You will get the most from this book if you work in real time on an intention as you read. If you're like me and you love a reason to buy new stationery, then go ahead and get yourself a new journal and pen. I'm giving you that excuse. Journaling your way through this book will bring it alive and I will give you plenty of ideas and prompts. So let's make a start. What will your adventure be? What are you struggling with? What intentions are you failing to see through and what just doesn't stick? Take a moment now to choose one or two intentions to work on throughout this book. I will be working on my intention to get up for the sunrise and, of course, my intention to write this book. What are you going to work on? That's the start.
Fantastic. Thank you. Amber has said, and I totally agree, love that the goal of the book is laid out right away and your personal struggle along with it makes it super relatable.
Mm-hmm. And I took that, you mentioned that adventure book. So I actually put it in there like, oh, let's make it like an adventure book.
Yay! And I love that idea. Honestly, getting people like reading is a very it's a very passive activity. And so if we can bring the reader into what we're doing, it doesn't have to be like super active, it doesn't have to be do an activity at the end of the chapter. It doesn't have to be like really in your face. But if we can bring the reader into it in some way and make it just a little bit more engaging and interactive, then that's always a win. And so yes, I love that idea.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that they'll work. It'll be like pause, what, so it'll be step by step work with the intention. Of course, my intention to write the book will be finished. So at the end, it's kind of like, and I finished my book, so I finished that intention. The sunrise one, let's see. Well, I do change it. In the book, I do change it and say, well, I'm making the wrong intention. Sometimes we make the wrong intentions. My intention isn't to get up early, it's to go to bed late. It's to go to bed earlier. So it kind of shows that was the wrong intention all along. So there's kind of lots of twists in there, I hope, enough to make it interesting as well as
that's already a little mindset shift that I've had just from like helping you with this book. Is like, yeah, there is no point in me trying to get up earlier if I'm going to bed. If I'm like faffing on the sofa until stupid o'clock at night, I'm not going to get enough sleep to get up. So I love that kind of like, you've even got the right intention.
I do it all the time. I go to bed at 2 and I still set the alarm for 6 and wonder why. I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I'm an intelligent person. Why does this not click? So
yeah, exactly.
That was awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much. There's a lot of love going on in the chat. I know that everybody is looking forward to this book. Hannah says, sounds like a book that would be very helpful for me and my clients. Yep, same. Sophie's loving the example of the night owl. So many wise words in one Zoom call. Absolutely. Yeah, brilliant. Everybody very happy. Thank you so much, Sarah. I am going to unpin you and we are going to move on to Yinka. Yay! Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm going to pin you.
Hello, everyone. It is so lovely to see you all.
Yay! So Yinka is one of my besties. She is an amazing advocate for women in business, absolute champion for women in business. And her superpower is cash money. Doing my Rihanna, my Rihanna meme. So Yinka, please tell us a little bit more about who you are, why you're here, why you're writing this book, and then you can read.
Okay, well, as Vicky said, my name is Yinka Ewala. I coach women and I am also a business strategist, and my focus is supporting women to build thriving and profitable businesses while living full, fabulous and nourishing lives, because quite frankly, what is the point of having an awesome business and a crappy life? So on that basis, I am super duper focused on what makes the most difference for both the business and the business owner. And when you are starting or early in your business, kind of below that £3 million mark, or dollar, euro, whatever currency you use, the most important part of your business is cash flow. And as a business owner throughout your entire life, as Sarah's incredible book highlighted, the most important thing or one of the kind of key areas is around your mindset. And so it's always boggled my brain why no one talks about the most important things when it comes to these areas. So my book is focused on cash flow. And I have I've got about 25 books in this beautiful microbook process. It's been so brilliant to be able to get your thoughts out there and then realize you've got more than about 10 microbooks worth of content. But what I'm going to read for you now, apart from getting over my fear of reading in front of people, is I can talk for days, but reading is not my jam in front of people. So you'll forgive if I stumble over my words. But what I'm going to read is one of my origin stories as to why I talk about cash flow and how this came into my world. So this will be very early in my book, and it's been I've made it long, I've made it short, I've stripped it out. Vicky's really helped me in listening to her notes with the other authors. This how it gets into the final version of the book, I don't know, we'll find out. But I'm really looking forward to being able to share it with you. So I'm going to do that right now. As soon as I can find my little page of stuff.
This is going to be great. You got this.
Okay. He peered over his headmasterish spectacles and began. Well, everything seems to be in order, and I'd be lying if I told you that I heard anything of what he said next. With those words came an ease of tension and fear unlike anything I had ever known. All those sleepless nights trying to make practical bookkeeping actually work, catching up on 6 months of missing transactions and doing everything I could not to fall foul of the government just fell away in a sigh of relief. It was all in order. It was all in order. And then I came to just in time to hear him say the words that would bring that death grip around my throat once more. So I just need you to make the payment of the outstanding amount and I'll be on my way. I thought, but we just had a huge win, so I figured it'll all be okay. And I went out with some optimistic confidence. Oh, okay, no problem at all, I said. We've got some checks clearing on in the bank on Friday, so I'll be able to make that payment for you then. And no, he interjected abruptly, and he seemed annoyed. I need that payment made today, he replied. Well, I can't make that payment today, I said. And before I could finish, he just stopped me dead in my tracks. Well, then I'm afraid your business is dead and you'll need to stop trading today. Well, that's a bit dramatic, I thought. And actually, I thought he was joking. So I desperately started to search for a smile on his face. Nothing. I'd have settled for the smallest upturn at the side of his mouth now. Still nothing. Oh, shoot. I think he's serious. Are you kidding me? I said, shifting in my seat. Today's Tuesday. We'll be able to pay you on Friday. Why would you say that? Why can't it wait? Well, I'm sorry to inform you, young lady, he continued. Patronize much? But if you aren't able to meet your obligations today, well, you actually have no business. Your business is done. The words rang in my ears like a toddler banging a tin. How could we be done? Are you kidding me? I repeated. You're standing in our offices. You just met our staff. You see that we have clients. You loved our logo. And I told you we've got money coming in. I could feel myself grasping now as desperately I searched for anything, something solid to hold on to. And I'm not proud of myself, but I actually said, we've actually won an award. By now, the tears were rolling down my face. This was not how this conversation was meant to go. I put everything on my life on hold to come in to help my mum with her business while she continued to fight for her life in her battle against cancer. And here I was, getting her business closed by the greyest, shortest taxman you'd ever seen. He leaned forward and said words that invoked rage that burns bright in me even today. Well, all that is well and good, but none of that matters. You have a debt that needs to be paid today, and if you can't pay it, you're done. No cash, no business. What? I erupted. What the hell was he talking about? I'd spent months learning everything I could about creating and building a business. I'd refreshed the logo, I'd done magic on that freaking website. And while moonlighting as a bookkeeper and doing all of those things, why the hell was no one talking about the one thing that could actually keep my business open? No cash flow, no business. Why didn't I know this? Why wasn't this written on everything that I'd read and all those things that I'd learned about doing the very best that I could for this business? Why was I only finding out about this now? No cash, no business. He only said it once, but I've said it 1,001 times since then. No cash, no business. No cash, no business is the biggest elephant in the room when it comes to the world of business growth. Cash is the one thing that everyone ultimately wants, if indeed they want to keep their business open. And yet pretty much everyone is desperate not to talk about. We'd rather do anything to talk about cash. And yet whether we want to talk about it or not, if we're in business, either you choose to talk about it or it will force you to do so. And that's why we're here. That's why this book exists. So that someone can tell you and show you now the power of understanding the importance of cash in a thriving, successful, and impactful business before you're so close to the end of that business that you can smell it. I would write it in the sky if I felt that it would help more people. And yet instead, I'm inviting you to join me on a journey to understand not only how and why cash is important, but how it also keeps your business alive. And not only that, because who wants to talk about the sad stuff? What we also get to discover is how amazing it gets to be when you put it in its rightful place. How when you allow it to serve you, your hopes and your dreams, rather than the other way around. And the practical things that you can do day to day to help bring cash to flow into your business with ease. Because sure, no cash flow, no business is true. And lumpy cash flow creates an anxiety-inducing business. But with the power of consistent cash flow, you really are in business and can create cash to help you stop negotiating with problems and start financing solutions in the world around you. Cash is just about the most remarkable thing hiding in plain sight. So join me in the pages ahead and let's discover how you can create more of it in your world, get to grips with it in your spaces, and change both your business and your life by getting this whole cash malarkey sorted once and for all.
Thank you so much. Really, yeah, you are right. No cash, no business. That was a great, I've never heard that story before. That was a great story to draw us in. Little grey dusty man made me laugh. I don't know if you said dusty, but little grey tax
He was
man.
bloody dusty. He was so rude, and he called me a young lady, and he was a midget. I'm 6 foot tall, it's about 5'2", and he's looking like honest, like yeah. You can tell the rage. I'm gonna calm down. Sorry, go.
No, it's cool. It's an annoying but powerful lesson.
Indeed,
yeah, love it. I'm really excited for the rest of the book. There's lots of love in the chat. Really powerful story, super strong intro, very well read indeed. And yes, cash malarkey, absolutely. So, well done. Really excited. That's the first I've seen of or heard of what you've got so far, and I can't wait for the rest of it. We will have a conversation because you need to book your one-to-one. It's all very exciting. Thank you so much. Okay, please, everybody, let me unpin. Please, everybody, if you have any questions for any of the authors, just drop it in the chat. If you've got any questions for me, drop them in the chat. I'm also going to be making this recording available. If you want me to send you the replay, I'll be putting it on social media. It's also going to become a podcast because I am very lazy and this is ready-made content and it's brilliant content. So it's going into my podcast. It'll be out there. I'll be popping it onto YouTube. So please, everybody, send me whatever social media handles you would like me to share, because this is about me helping you get word out about your book as much as it is about me bringing more people into MicroBooks. So please share your social media handles, share your website, your book website URLs or your webpage for your book so that I can share those. Very excited. And I also wanted to say, again, thank you so much to all of my MicroBook authors. You are all amazing. Not everybody could be here today, so this is a round of applause for those who couldn't be here today as well. Keep writing. You're all amazing. The world needs your books. And if you've got questions for me or anybody else, drop them in the chat or email me, vicky@moxiebooks.co.uk. Oh, Sharon, I'm so sorry. Sharon, we also are going to hear from today. Thank you so much for joining us. Sharon is writing, oh my gosh, Sharon is writing the best book, and it makes me, the working title makes me laugh so much, which I will let her share with you. But Sharon is going to be telling us all about self-care. Would you like to unmute and tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're writing, and the book, and why you're writing the book?
Hi, everybody. I am Sharon Blue. I'm here in the US. The working title of my book is Self-Care is Not a Bubble Bath. And I'm writing this book all about self-care. I'm basically trying to give everybody a new framework for understanding what self-care is and how to look at it differently so you can actually implement it effectively and efficiently in your life. So kind of the building blocks of self-care. I'm writing it because my background is in school counseling. I worked as a school counselor for 7 years. And so often I found people aiming for these huge goals, or even small goals, and falling short. And a lot of times when we kind of backed it down to figure out why is this not working for you, we realized that they were not really addressing the basics of their life. They were not taking care of themselves. So how can you plan to start a business or like go run a marathon or any of these things if you're not sleeping, eating, being hydrated, just general self-care? But we don't think of it as self-care because there's so much misinformation and misdirection, because self-care has been commercialized so much. So this book is kind of getting down to basics and giving you a whole new framework for understanding what self-care actually is, so you can then start to create personalized self-care that works for you. So I am going to read a little bit from my chapter 1. So I've kind of told you what it is. This is just a little snippet. So the first chapter is called What the Heck is Self-Care? Life is hard. I have been a working professional, a stay-at-home mom, a business owner, all within the last 5 years of my life. Being a mom is hard. Being a working mom is hard. Being a stay-at-home mom is hard. It's all hard. And we typically feel like since these tiny humans are our responsibility, it means that we need to give of ourselves in every way, shape, and form to ensure their survival. But what about our survival? Who will take care of these tiny humans if we aren't around? If we break down and find ourselves incapable of doing all we did before? If we burn out? If we look at our energy tanks and find them empty? We all have a limited amount of energy accessible to us each day. So often that energy is going outwards to take care of those around us, the people who depend on us, our jobs, our families, our friends, our fur babies. The way we bring a little of that energy back to ourselves is referred to as self-care. Self-care. It's become such a buzzword lately. Do you have it? Are you doing enough of it? You should be. Buy this thing. Take this trip. Go to a spa because these are self-care and you need self-care. At the end of a long, hard day, picking up toys over and over and over again, wiping butts, making food that isn't eaten, doing laundry that will just get dirty in a day, maybe all you want is a nice hot bath and 5 minutes to yourself. You put the kids to bed, run the hot water, add in some aromatherapy bath salts, put on Nora Jones and get ready to soak in some peace. Maybe you get all of 20 seconds in thinking, this is so relaxing, until your brain starts churning out the to-do list. You remember that the kitchen still hasn't been wiped down from dinner. There are still toys to pick up on your living room floor. Do you have enough snacks for school tomorrow? Did you remember to make those dentist appointments? And then the water is cold and relaxing bath time is over. Hate to tell you, that's not self-care. Are you reading this thinking self-care? Who has time for self-care? I'm in survival mode, trying to take care of everyone else. There's no time to focus on the self. Well, read on, my friends, and learn what the heck self-care actually is and why it's so crucially important.
I love everything about that. And I also it's beautifully read as well, by the way, absolutely beautifully read. But it just gives me the rage on so many levels, because it's just like, why is the one person responsible for all of the things? So yeah, so many things to think about there. But yeah, love it. Incredibly, as Yinka said, incredibly powerful and authoritative. Love it. Right. Wiping butts. Yeah, I see an audible in your future. I was thinking that exact thing, actually. You would make such a great audiobook narrator definitely for your own audiobooks. Not suggesting.
I have 5 minutes piece, Sophie, and I was thinking about it as I wrote that because that's my favorite book in the entire world. It's the book that my mother read to me so much that it became my favorite. And now as a mother, I realize why that was her favorite. And I read it all the time. Yes, those elephants are my life. And with the Audible, it's funny. My husband is dyslexic. And so I asked him to be one of my beta readers. And his response was, well, and I told him about the suggestion of reading it out loud for editing purposes. And he said, well, you can read it out loud to me. And then he said, do you want to just record it while you do it? And we can make it audible. So it's a possibility.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, totally. No, you read that beautifully. And, little bit of practice. I know you've got a little bit more work that you want to do on it, but yeah, I think it'll make a really good audiobook. I mean, they all would as well. Short audiobooks, people. That was awesome. Thank you. I love everything about that book. I love the working title. I really hope it becomes the actual title as well. It's such a kind of brain poker, and just a real good reminder. And again, it's such a great book for that mindset shift of like, we all think we know what self-care is, and we're all looking for what's the thing that's going to help us calm down. But actually, this is that step before that. It's like, is it really self-care? No, actually. So what is it, and what do we need to know? And that's the really powerful but mighty micro book idea that right in action here. Thank you, Sharon. Please do share links to where people can find the books, and also had an idea earlier. Oh, hang on, we've got Sophie says, really good. Had you in mind today with having a crap morning? So I taught myself to a new environment to reset. 2 hours work in a coffee shop equals new person. Yeah, love it. So yes, what I would really like to do when everybody has their microbooks ready and out there is I would like to gather them together and make them available to all the people in this microbook cohort. Everybody else can go buy the books from the authors, but I would really like to have everybody share their books. I think that would be a really cool thing to do. So please let me know. I will keep badgering you anyway. Okay, I'm pretty sure. I'm just like double and triple checking now. That is everybody on the call. Amazing. Okay, really, that's really good to hear. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me in writing microbooks. Really so proud of all of you. Really can't wait to see the books that are coming out of this. And if you are listening to this live or the replay, if you would like to write a microbook of your very own, season 3 of MicroBook Magic starts on March the 7th, with onboarding week from February the 27th, because I have some new goodies that I am introducing for the next round of MicroBook Magic. You can email me, vicky@moxiebooks.co.uk, for details, because I still haven't made a landing page. But I do have a Google Doc, so I can send you that. And if you do want to sign up, because you are here or listening to the replay, and because you are awesome, or if you know anybody, if any of you guys on the call know anybody who might want to do this, if you sign up by midnight on Friday, get a whopping 25% off the full price with this code, which I'm going to put in the chat box just in cases. Because I just want to let people who have done this round know that you are not missing out on any discounts, by the way, because the price has gone up for the next round. So this is for the next round of people. But yes, that is the discount code. If you know anybody who might want to write a microbook, please put them in touch with me. I think that's it. I'm just going to waffle my way to the end of this call, as I do. I can't end things. I can't end calls. I'm going to get Yinka's hand in a minute. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really proud of all of you. You are all writing amazing microbooks. I can't wait to read them. And I will see you all very, very soon. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you've had an amazing experience. And yeah, I'm so glad that at least a couple of people in this group understand how my brain works as well. I feel very seen and forgiven. Oh, I'm going to keep reading these. A real book almost. Yes, a real book almost in the world, everybody. A real book almost in the world. So excited to see them all. Thank you. Big love. See you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me for the second part of the MicroBook Magic Author Showcase. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the books that people are writing. I'm just super impressed at the different topics and the different perspectives we've got coming out. So again, if you are interested in writing a microbook of your own, onboarding week starts for season 3 of MicroBook Magic. We start onboarding on February the 27th, and it actually kicks off for realsies on March the 7th. And if you would like to join us, we would love to have you. The link is in the show notes, or if you would like more information, email me vicky@moxiebooks.co.uk, and I will tell you everything you need to know. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please rate and review us. Really appreciate that. But absolutely the best thing you can do is share this episode with somebody that you think might enjoy it. That would be amazing. Thank you to Podfly for all of your hard work as usual. Thank you to Carolyn for all of your hard work. And thank you to you, dear listener, for tuning in again and listening to me ramble on. I'll be back next week. Thanks so much for listening. Check out the show notes at moxiebooks.co.uk/podcast for links to everything we've mentioned in this episode. Remember to subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. And if you'd like to hear more from Notes in the Margin, you can sign up to get regular emails from Vicky into your inbox at moxiebooks.co.uk/notes in the margin. We'll be back same time next week.